Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is one of my favorite fanfic. What if Naruto was a Hashira of the Uzumaki clan? In a twist of fate during the Second Great Ninja War, the Uzumaki clan narrowly escapes annihilation, saving their children and most promising young shinobi by relocating them to the Hidden Leaf. Growing up with his clan's guidance, Naruto not only inherits their powerful chakra and resilience, but is also raised as a protector, a Hashira in his own right. How will Naruto's life and strength evolve with the love and legacy of the Uzumaki clan behind him? Don't forget to like and subscribe to help the YouTube algorithm spread this video to more viewers. On 200 likes, the next part will be uploaded. Now let's begin. Chapter 1 Prologue. The screams of dying fill the air, interrupted by the blasts of paper bombs and the sharp ringing of steel on steel as shinobi clashed. Ruka blade in hand cut down two more missed shinobi, while her husband Takashi used his chakra chains to pierce and throw a pair of cloud ninja as if they were ragdolls. This path should have been clear of any enemies. Yet here they were fighting off pursuers and ambushes. Takashi would never bring it up, but she knew what it meant. It means that secret passages that linked the other clans to the escape tunnels had been breached, which meant the other clans in the village had already been slain or overran, which included her own clan, the Rengoku clan. She had been so happy when she had been selected to marry the promising second son of the main branch of the Uzumaki clan, Takashi. Yet now it just brought her pain, as now it just meant that she would live while every one of her kinsmen would be dead. She put aside the thoughts. The entire village was lost. They likely could have repelled an attack from any single of the great nations, as they had in the past. But the combined assault from the hidden cloud and mist was too much. Even the Uzumaki clan's legendary sealing arts and adamantine chains could not halt the power of four-tailed beasts and their Jinchuriki. Takashi said, "We got another pair up ahead right behind the doorway to the grotto." Ruka said, "Got it." She took a deep breath as she channeled her chakra through her blade, turning it into roaring flames. Fire style, flame breathing, first form, unknowing fire. She leapt in a hazy blur. Their ambushers, surprised by her speed, couldn't even react before she twisted her body in a circular slash, decapitating both and leaving only charred stumps. Landing gracefully, she yelled, "It's clear." Katuso and Chiyoko ran past her and down the steps. Chiyoko was carrying her children, Heiei and Honka, while Katuso carried another pair of Uzumaki children. Then they were followed by Kinji and Yuina, each carrying a pair of Uzumaki children. These four children were the eldest of the Uzumaki clan's youth who had yet to begin formal training. Finally, Takashi arrived. Takashi said, "It's not going well, my love. I can sense less and less of our kinsmen. The elders of the clans are holding their ground, but they will not last much longer." Ruka said, "I know." Enemy Nin wouldn't have been able to find the tunnels unless one or more of the clan's compounds had been fully overran. Takashi said, "At least we managed to get the children out, along with the scrolls containing my clan's sacred treasures, at least the ones that were unclaimed. Go with them. I got to seal the passageway." He gave her a sad look. "We're the last." Ruka knew what he meant. There would be no more evacuation groups coming, only enemy Nin. She said, "All right, but come as soon as you finish. The tide is going out and with it our cover." Takashi said, "Yeah, I know." He then began performing the necessary hand seals to engage the seals and barriers that would close off the passages. He stopped. "There is someone coming." The water. She turned, and it was truly her worst fear, made manifest. The mist had sent a kill team to kill anyone trying to escape. She wasn't a true sensor type like Takashi, but even she felt the power and killing intent of the squad leader. Takashi said, "He is the Three Tails Jinchuriki. The rest are Jonin." The chunin that were carrying the children proved that they weren't sent with the children because they were weak. They were the clan's best, brightest young shinobi, and to protect their kin, they would fight to the death. The Jonin engaged them, but the Jinchuriki just kept eyeing them, likely hoping to kill them as they rushed to help their subordinates. Takashi said, "The Jonin have already fought to get here. Their chakra is low. Trust the youngbloods. We got to deal with the Three Tails." Ruka said, "Right?" They opened with their favorite attack combination, one that gave the advantage to them. They performed their hand seals. Takashi said, "Wind style, kamikaze palm." She said, "Fire style, flaming tiger." Her fire style jutsu's power was vastly increased, and even with the grotto's water, it would still obfuscate the battlefield. As expected, the Three Tails Jinchuriki defended with a large barrier of water, which played directly into their hands, as a massive amount of steam was released when the attack was blocked. She took a deep breath, igniting the chakra she channeled into her sword, before saying, "Fire style, flame breathing, first form, unknowing fire." She leapt at the Jinchuriki with her flaming slash. Flying through the steam, she was on him. She brought her katana down in a wide slash, building as much power she could. She was about to take his head off, but it was intercepted by a water clone. More steam was generated, and her strike was easily deflected as it lost nearly all of its momentum, cutting through the chakra-infused water. The three tails thrust his palm forward and said, "Coral palm." She quickly brought her blade back into a guard position to block. But it was unneeded. A high-pitched sound cut through the sound of battle, and a crescent blast of high-pressure wind cut through the steam. She knew the technique instantly. Wind style, kamikaze slash. It took the Jinchuriki's arm at the elbow, blood spurting from the wound. She leapt back to plan another attack. They had managed to trick the Jinchuriki, as it assumed that one or both of them would rush to the aid of their subordinates. Takashi landed next to her. "We got to keep the pressure up. They seem to have not done their homework if they're this cocky. I sent a shadow clone to help secure the boat. We need to finish this quick." Chaotic typhoon formation. She didn't bother to respond. They used the body flicker to get to another position to get a different angle of attack. Unfortunately, it was for naught, as a roar erupted from where the Jinchuriki was located, followed by a massive shockwave of chakra and air. It cleared the area of the steam, and on the water was now some kind of monster made of some kind of deep crimson and black chakra. She got an evil feel from it. It reminded her of the stories her father told her the days before the Rengoku clan allied with the Uzumaki clan and managed to slay or seal away the demons that feasted on human flesh. The severed arm seemed to have healed as she couldn't see the severed limb. Takashi yelled at the boat, "Set off now, and don't turn back. We'll hold back the beast." Katuso replied, "But sensei." Takashi said, "That is a direct order. Get out of here." Katuso said, "Yes, sensei." Releasing the seal on the aft, and a massive gust blew them away from the dock in the battle, towards the mouth of the grotto. They had just enough room to get the boat through, but she still worried. Takashi looked at her, not saying anything. She knew what he was thinking. They would die here, but that hardly mattered so long as their children got away safely. Takashi pointed his left arm and made a one-handed seal and unleashed his Kekai Jinkai against the beast. Instinctively, the beast knew to avoid the chains, but it left itself open to another attack from her. Taking a deep break, she ignited her katana again. Fire style, flame breathing, third form, blazing universe. The beast blocks with its tails, but the powerful strike created a massive burst of flame and shockwave. The beast flicked its tails to throw her off. She landed on her feet, sliding across the water's surface. Takashi attacked, summoning another sword from a scroll, Uzumaki hidden technique, spiraling blade storm dance. The rapid and chaotic blade work of the technique made it almost impossible to fully defend against or evade. Takashi also took it to a higher level, incorporating wind style into the strikes, increasing its cutting power and speed. Yet the demon was fighting back, attempting to strike Takashi, but the high speed and chaotic nature of the technique made it impossible to hit the user. The technique came to an end, and Takashi attempted to retreat to a safe distance, but was sent flying with a flick of one of its tails. She did not fail to take notice of the beast. Takashi had managed to pierce the chakra armor of the beast, but the cuts were shallow. She took a deep breath, igniting her katana. She said, "Fire style, flame breathing, fifth form, flame tiger slash." Leaping forward, she launched her barrage of slashes, aiming for the cuts her husband had left before the chakra armor could heal. Flames engulfed the beasts, but her assault still did little to slow it down. She realized that she would need to use her clan's ultimate technique. As soon as she withdrew, she saw her husband leap at the beast. He had the same thought, unleashing the Uzumaki clan's ultimate sword technique, Demon Aura, Azura's blade dance. The beast was pushed back by the heavy barrage of sword strikes. It was said this technique was too fast for even the Sharingan to follow. The attack was certainly powerful, but she knew it also consumed an extremely high amount of chakra. As the attack wore on, she noticed the attacks were slowing down and less strength was behind them. The beast did not fail to notice and launched a counterattack. That was when Takashi launched another assault at full strength and tempo. Ruka knew what her husband was doing. He was pushing the technique far beyond what it had designed for. Every second he bought meant more distance for the children to cover. Yet she knew that he had to be running on fumes. They had been fighting even before they got into the tunnels and were constantly fighting off ambushes and pursuit units. Now fighting a tail beast sure had to be taxing. Takashi managed to sever the beast's arm and a tail. Yet in a rage, the beast lashed out and ran its remaining arm through his chest. Ruka yelled. She summoned every bit of strength she had left, setting her heart ablaze. Chakra blazed from her body as she took her stance. The water around her rapidly started boiling. Ruka said, "Esoteric sword art, flame breathing, ninth form, Rengoku." The flames took the form of a mighty dragon as she leapt towards the beast. The surrounding water turned to steam as she moved. The first strike was aimed for its neck, but the beast managed to redirect her slash, thinking to absorb the blow on its shell. Foolish beast, this technique was designed to cut through anything. Her ancestors have used to cut everything from demons to the armor of the Susanoo, and even cut the tails of the Eight Tails during the days of the Warring States. Even just the kinetic energy from her charge was overwhelming. It cut through the chakra shell and armor, cutting all the way down to the beast's waist, before she turned to strike upwards, cutting again through the beast's body. As she was attacked, the beast thrust the arm stained with her husband's blood through her stomach. Ignoring the pain, she was determined to take the demon with her. She summoned even more fire. Holding nothing back, she sliced through his body, cutting through chakra, flesh, and bone. She directed the cut up the neck and bisected the skull of the beast with the last of her strength. As the flames cleared away, she realized that she was back at the shore. The stone behind her was cracked, and some were melted. Adrenaline and chakra exhausted, she felt the full damage of her wound. She dropped her katana and collapsed, knowing she had done her duty, avenging her husband and saving her children. Chapter 1. 24 years later, in the village hidden in the leaves, the crack of Shurnai filled the air of the Uzumaki clan's garden. Naruto was trying his best to keep up with his elder cousin and tutor Hade. Yet it was no avail, as Hade evaded Naruto's riposte and smacked his Shurnai across Naruto's back, sending him into the koi pond. Soaking wet, Naruto shook his fist at Hade and said, "What's the big idea, you jerk? You promised not to throw me in again." Hade, standing above him on a boulder, said, "Blame old man Katsuo and the rest of the elders. They're pretty mad that they have to deal with the fallout of you painting a bunch of crap on the Hokage monument." Naruto pouted as he said, "Well, it's not my fault that no one can take a good prank. Besides, it won't matter once I am Hokage." Hade sighed. "First you have to graduate, shrimp. Honestly, you're a weird kid. How is it that you can't do basic ninjutsu, let alone jinjutsu? Yet you are extremely advanced for your age at sealing techniques. Even by old man Katsuo's standards, you ain't half bad. Hell, I still get scolded from time to time by him about my seals." Naruto said, "The tests are a load of bull. I'm already better than everyone but Sasuke at taijutsu, and no one else has studied kinjutsu or bojutsu, let alone fuinjutsu. So they should just pass me." Hade sighed. "That's not how it works. Even someone like me who specializes in kinjutsu or Anoka who specializes in sealing techniques needs ninjutsu, let alone the more advanced stuff like elemental ninjutsu. You can't always close the distance in battle." Naruto crossed his arms and tried pouting harder. Hade sighed more and said, "Besides, us Uzumakis have hidden ninjutsu too. We aren't all just seals, swords, and kekai genkai. Hell, you're not even guaranteed the kekai genkai. Only Auntie Rika has the healing bite, and not everyone awakens the adamantine chains." Naruto said, "Fine, I still have a week before the exam. Why don't you help me train?" Hade said, "Sorry, Naruto, I have to leave on a mission tomorrow with my team. It honestly would be pretty boring if it wasn't my Genin's first C rank mission. Karen isn't making too much of a fuss, but Yada and Isai are all fired up." Hade sighed, "Unfortunately, it will be a 2-week-long mission. It's basic protection for some rich merchants, super easy during peacetime, but they take forever to actually do. So I won't be back until after your graduation exam. Anoka is on that long-range border patrol mission and won't be back for another month. So it's the elders or Auntie Rika if she has the time." Naruto said, "That blows." Hade said, "I know. If you graduate, I will take you out for a chiraku." "How does that sound?" Naruto perked up at that and jumped up as he shouted, "That sounds great." Hade said, "I knew that would cheer you up. Let's go back inside and get cleaned up. We got that midnight memorial service at the clan temple. You know how the elders get about it. You can't leave for a mission without it." Naruto said, "All right." That night, Naruto sat in the temple with all of his kinsmen and women that were in the village. The smell of incense was heavy in the air. Naruto occasionally opened his eyes to see if anyone else had finished their silent prayers, but all he saw were his kinsmen dressed in the formal kimonos, the Uzumaki crest emblazoned proudly on their backs. Naruto looked up at the shrine containing the pictures of their kin who had passed. Most were paintings of the family that had perished in the attack on their homeland. A few were photographs of those who had died since they found refuge in the village. The only one he knew was Karen's dad, and even then he had only vague memories as he died when Naruto and Karen were still really small. He did always wonder about those who had died when their homeland was attacked. He knew that his grandfather and great-grandparents died in the attack, along with Anoka and Hayate's parents. Of course, many others, but those he was always curious about. The elders cared about him for sure, but he never got that warm feeling he got from Auntie Rika or the twins. He wondered if his grandparents would have been like all the grandparents he saw in the village with their grandkids. Though the person he was most curious about was his mother, Uzumaki Kushina. They never spoke about his father, but everyone in the clan spoke fondly of his mother. The elders saw her as the pride of the Uzumaki clan, Auntie Rika, and the twins remembered her as basically their big sister. She died the night Naruto was born, the day the Nine Tails attacked, but everyone in the clan promised him that she loved him more than he could ever know. Finally, the silent prayer ended. Old man Katsuo turned around and said, "Those of us who will leave for a mission, come forward." Hayate and Karen stood up and stepped forward before the old man. Katsuo clasped his hands together and said, "We ask the ancestors to protect our kinsmen and women who are about to depart on their mission. May they evade the gaze of the Shinigami." Katsuo continued, "Let them bring honor to our clan and to the village hidden in the leaves." Normally that would be the final thing said before the final blessing, but Katsuo said, "Naruto, come forward." That surprised Naruto, and he came forward kneeling alongside Karen and Hayate. Katsuo said, "Ancestors help our kinsman as he prepares to take his final step before becoming a true shinobi." Naruto couldn't help but smile. Katsuo truly did want the best for him despite old man Katsuo being a giant stick in the mud. The day of the graduation exam. Damn it. He failed again. How could this happen? How would he go home and tell everyone that he failed? While everyone else was celebrating with their families as the class ended, he sat on the swing in front of the academy. He should have known something like this would have happened. When all the elders were summoned for an important mission from Old Man Hokage, Auntie Rika said it has been a very long time since they were all summoned for a mission. She even told him that the only reason why she wasn't going with him is because she was in charge of the village's barrier corps. So even she was too busy to train with as they had been put at combat readiness level 3. This also meant Anoka would likely be away longer since it meant long-range border patrols would be ordered to patrol their sector again. Karen might be able to stay in the village when she and Hayate get back, but Hayate would be deployed to one of the border forts. Naruto sensed someone approaching him. A moment later he realized it was Mitsuki-sensei. Mitsuki said, "I know you're feeling pretty down, Naruto. So why don't we talk for a bit? I have some things you should know." Later that night, he finally got it. He was panting heavily, but he finally got it. He mastered the multi-shadow clone jutsu. He then felt someone was coming. It was Irika-sensei. Irika landed before him and said, "It's all over." Naruto chuckled and said, "Got me already." "Not bad. You're quick, sensei. I only had time to learn one technique." Naruto got up and rubbed the back of his head before continuing, "Okay, listen, Irika-sensei. I'm going to show you this amazing jutsu, and you're going to let me graduate. Then everything will be okay. That's the way it works, right? Anyone who learns a jutsu from this scroll passes." Irika asked, "Where in the world did you get that idea?" Naruto replied, "Mizuki-sensei told me about. You know. He told me where to find a scroll, and this place." Irika yelled, "Look out," and pushed him so far that he flew several meters. A barrage of kunai hit Irika-sensei, sending him into the wall of the hut. Mizuki-sensei appeared in the trees overlooking the hut's clearing. Mizuki said, "I see you found our little hideout, Irika." Irika said, "So that is how it is. I should have known." Mizuki said, "Naruto, give me the scroll now." Naruto, confused, said, "Wait a minute. What's going on here?" Irika yelled, "Naruto, don't let Mizuki get the scroll. It contains forbidden jutsu that could put this village in grave danger. Mizuki used you to get the scroll for his gain." Mizuki countered, "Naruto, Irika is just trying to scare you because he doesn't want you to have the scroll." Naruto said, "Huh?" Irika said, "Stop lying, Mizuki." He turned his head to Naruto and said, "Don't let him trick you, Naruto." Mizuki laughed and said, "Oh, I'll tell you who's really lying." Irika yelled, "No, Mizuki. That's forbidden." Mizuki said, "They've been lying to you your whole life, Naruto. Since the decree 12 years ago." Naruto asked, "What decree?" Mizuki continued, "Everyone knows except you, including your own clan. Irika is trying to hide it from you even now. He would do anything to shut me up." Naruto asked, "What is this decree? Why does everyone else know about it?" Irika yelled, "Don't tell him. It's forbidden." Mizuki said, "The decree is that no one can tell you that the nine-tailed fox is inside you." Naruto gasped. Mizuki continued, "The fox spirit that killed Irika's parents and almost destroyed the village has taken over your body. You are the nine-tailed fox." Irika yelled, "Stop it." Mizuki said, "They've all been sneaking around, hiding things from you your whole life. Didn't you think it was strange how they treated you? Like they hated you for just being alive." Naruto yelled, "Oh." Chirka poured out of him as felt so many conflicting things. Naruto kept yelling, "Oh, oh, oh, no." Irika said with his voice heavy with emotion, "Naruto." Mizuki continued with even more venom in his voice, "That's why you will never be accepted in this village. Even your beloved sensei hates your guts." Mizuki spun the Fuma Shuriken and said, "Die, Thodo." Iruka yelled, "Naruto, get down." Before Naruto knew it, Iruka was bent over him. He had taken the Fuma shuriken that was meant for him. Naruto couldn't believe it. Iruka groaned and coughed up blood. The blood fell on Naruto. Naruto asked why. Iruka said as tears streamed from his face, "Because we are the same. When I lost my parents, no one seemed to care. They didn't have time for me. They just forgot I was there. My grades dropped, and I became the class clown to get attention. I was alone. It wasn't until I got transferred to a different class for pranking the instructor that I found someone who reached out to me. It was your cousins Hayate and Anoka. They were the only ones who saw the pit of loneliness that I was in. I know the loneliness and pain inside that you feel. Even with your clan, you need others to reach out and acknowledge you. Just as needed back then. I should have been there for you more. I am sorry. No one should have to suffer like you did, Naruto." Mizuki laughed and said, "Don't make me laugh. He was orphaned because the nine-tailed fox killed his parents. He'd say anything to get the scroll from you." Naruto took off into the forest, unsure of what to feel or do. Anger, betrayal, and sadness filled his heart. Iruka called out to him, "Naruto. Naruto." Naruto was unsure how much time had passed, but he was hiding behind a tree when Iruka-sensei brought down Mizuki into a clearing. Mizuki said, "Naruto, how did you know?" "That it was me and not Iruka." Iruka-sensei laughed and said, "Because I am Iruka." Mizuki countered, "You're a fool. Why are you protecting that freak?" Iruka replied, "I don't care what you say. You're not getting your hands on that scroll." Mizuki cockily said, "As if you could stop me. Don't you get it? Naruto is just like me. He wants the scroll for his own power and his own vengeance. He will pour his anger and hate into the scroll and destroy the village. That's how beasts are." Iruka said, "You're right." Naruto gasped and thought to himself, "So it's true. Iruka-sensei never believed in me. He thinks I am some sort of beast." Iruka continued, "That is how beasts are. But that is not who Naruto is. You don't know the first thing about him. Naruto is one of a kind. He's passionate and will never quit. He is a finer shinobi than you will ever be. Sure, he messes up sometimes and everyone gangs up on him. But his suffering only drives him to work harder and prove that he has what it takes. Even with all the hate he gets, he doesn't return it. He works harder to prove that he will make everyone acknowledge him. That's what separates him from a beast. Even you telling him about the 9 tails won't stop him. You tried to turn him against me with your lies. But Naruto could sense every bit of venom and hate in those words and in your heart. He knows how much his clan and I care for him. If you bother to get to know him or read his file, you would know that he is a censor type, inheriting one of the Uzumaki clan's Kekai Jinkai. The clan whose techniques are what allowed the 4th Hokage to defeat the 9 tails. So Naruto is nothing like the 9-tailed fox. He's Naruto Uzumaki of the village hidden in the leaves. Tears fell down Naruto's face as he heard those words. He didn't need to be a censor type to know how Iruka-sensei truly meant those words. Mizuki said, "You really believe that drivel? I was going to save you for later, but you're finished." Naruto leapt from his hiding spot and tackled Mizuki, sending him flying, diverting the Fuma shuriken in the process. Mizuki said, "Not bad for a little punk." Naruto said, "If you ever lay a hand on my sensei, I'll kill you." Mizuki replied, "Such big words. I could destroy you in an instant." Naruto formed a seal for shadow clones and said, "Take your best shot, fool. Whatever you dish out, I'll pay back 1,000-fold." Mizuki yelled, "Show me what you can do, 9-tailed fox." Naruto yelled, "Multi-shadow clone jutsu," forming hundreds of shadow clones. Mizuki said, "No, what is this?" as he fell onto the ground. Together the clones said, "If you're not coming, then we're coming after you." After pounding the snot out of Mizuki, dawn broke. Naruto said, "Sorry, I kinda got carried away." "Are you okay, Iruka-sensei?" Iruka replied, "Naruto, come here for a minute. I have something to give you." Naruto came closer and Iruka said, "Close your eyes, Naruto." It felt like forever, but it only had to be a minute or two. Naruto asked, "How much longer, sensei?" Iruka replied, "Okay, you can open your eyes now." He opened his eyes and saw Iruka-sensei without his headband. Iruka-sensei said, "Congratulations, you graduate. And to celebrate, I have a surprise. We're going out for ramen tonight." Naruto felt a smile come across his face and his heart beating like a drum. He leapt onto Iruka-sensei and hugged him. Chapter 3. The Hashira of the Uzumaki clan. The mission was a cakewalk as he had expected. Escorting merchant caravans normally was outside of a war. The Third Great Shinobi War was not something he liked to think about. So many of his friends and kinsmen died. Out of 12 of their clan to escape the destruction of the hidden whirlpool, only 7 were still alive. The four who had been their escorts and eventually guardians had somehow managed to survive the Second and Third Shinobi World Wars, but the younger generation got whittled down. Aunt Rika and Uncle Asaka were the only ones besides himself and Anoka of the kids to survive to adulthood. Neither Anoka nor him had kids yet, but at least his aunt and uncle started, though Uncle Asaka had been killed by hidden ninja just prior to the end of the Third War, with him and Aunt Rika managing to have one kid, Karen. He looked at his younger cousin, who was chatting with Yada about something, probably doing some taijutsu training when they get back to the village. Karen, always looking to improve herself. No wonder why she was considered the great prodigy of the clan and likely the key to their future. The clan's Kekiai Jinkai expressed itself almost fully. Her sensory skills were better than anyone else alive in the clan. Her chakra reserves were massive and potent, with a particularly strong life force. She almost certainly had the ability to heal others by allowing them to bite her, though given her age and permanent nature of the marks, they didn't want to test it yet. The chains came with strong emotions. He and his twin were too young to really take note of it, but elders said her chakra was on par with Big Sis Kushina's and Lady Mitos, which meant that she would have been the perfect candidate as the host of the QB. Which is probably why the elders insisted on betrothing her to Naruto, to ensure that the QB could be contained if the beast chakra ever got too much for Naruto in any way. It would also ensure that their children and future descendants would be suitable to be the next host. He chuckled at that. Naruto, the goofball that he was, didn't understand what a betrothal was, and it completely flew over his head when the elders tried telling when he approached the age to start taking an interest in girls, which instantly became the running joke within the clan. Even Karen found it hilarious. He didn't know if they would love each other as Kushina and Lord Forth did or Karen's own parents did, but it was good that they got along. Well, as much as hot-blooded Uzumakis can get along with each other. There was a reason why the neighborhood around the Uzumaki compound had such cheap rent. They were a noisy and rowdy bunch in everything they did. They made camp on the top of a small hill as night fell. The merchant's caravan did their normal procedures, circling the wagons and tying up the oxen. His team set up a small fire and boiled the water for their food. As the merchant caravan prepared for bed, Hayate said, "All right, you guys get some rest. I'll take the first watch." As expected, there was nothing going on except for the sound of crickets chirping and the occasional hoot from an owl. He took a sip of tea, wondering if Naruto passed his graduation exam. He hoped that Naruto passed. Naruto suffered enough. He should have some good in his life beyond the small circle of people who cared about. As he wondered about his goofball of a cousin, the night soon became eerily quiet. Hayate sensed the sudden silence, followed by a sense of impending evil. He sensed something coming at him, coming fast. He hit the deck, barely avoiding whatever was coming at him. Boom. Take two. His ears rang like a temple bell. A sonic boom. Who the hell was attacking them? He leapt to his feet and reached out with the mind's eye of Kagura. He detected two signatures. Both were cold and felt disgusting, but they were strong. He yelled out to his team, "Rise and shine, we got incoming." His team quickly woke up and took up their positions behind him. Hayate said, "Two hostiles incoming at 12 o'clock. Wake the merchants and protect them." They said in unison, "Yes, sir," disappearing in the blur of the body flicker. Hayate drew his sword, a silver and black dao that was designed to be used as both a single dao and paired dual daos. A second projectile was coming. Hayate took a deep breath and said, "Wind style, wind breathing, sixth form, rising thermal." He sliced the projectile in half, diverting it up into the air in the process. A Tamari? How the hell does some throw it so fast that it creates a sonic boom? One of the evil signatures stood at the edge of the forest, laughing. A very pale young woman with short hair as black as midnight except for the orange at the ends, wearing a black robe over her orange kimono. Eyes of a predator. Her smile filled him with a sense of uneasiness, especially as he saw her fangs. The woman said, "I knew I sensed a pair of Merechi. That red hair is just so obvious. I've gone so long without feasting on Merechi's flesh and life force." Hayate remembered the legends of his childhood. Days long gone when the Uzumaki and Rengoku clans were second only to the Senju and Uchiha clans and employers seeking to hire them, though often for a different reason. The days when seal masters and swordsmen wielding Nichiren blades were more prized than a shinobi's pure strength or skill at infiltration. They were demons. He sheathed his sword and formed a seal for shadow clones. A pair of shadow clones appeared. Hayate said to the clone, "Set up a barrier around everyone, and tell them that this fight is Uzumaki business." The clones ran off with the body flicker. He drew his blade, taking up a guard stance. Hayate said, "I've never had the pleasure of killing a demon before. This will be fun." The creature said, "Cocky Merechi, aren't you? Don't know why you're so cocky. There don't seem to be that many of you left." Hayate replied, "Not by your kind's hand. A pair of tamari appeared in the creature's hands, and she bounced them against the ground. She threw them at him. He swung his Dao in arcs to build up momentum and parried the first away and tried to dodge the second with a quick spin, but it followed him. He brought his sword down on it just in time, splicing into two, which hit him, but with nowhere near the force it would have otherwise. The demon said, "Not bad. Now let's see if you can really play." It disrobed the outer robe, followed by the top of her kimono. From there, she spouted 4 more arms, each then calling forth a tamari. Heiei sensed that she had powered up. He readied himself for the next attack. The attack came even faster than before. Quickly, Heiei took a deep breath and said, "Wind style, wind breathing, third form, cyclone dance." Quickly separating his Dao, Heiei executed the technique's rapid spins and twists, building power and generating a powerful cyclone around him and the blades, cutting and parrying the tamari while moving too fast for them to hit him with a reduced power and speed. It took him off the hill and onto the forest floor at her level. The demon created more tamari, throwing it at him as soon as she created them. She said, "Demon blood art, tamari barrage." Heiei went to a different technique, Uzumaki hidden technique, spiraling dragon's blade dance. Like a pair of dragons, his swords moved like a raging eastern typhoon yet was graceful as an angel. The beast's barrage was slashed again and again. Every moment he was gaining ground until he was in range. He slashed upwards, cutting off her arms before somersaulting above her. As he came behind her, he twisted his body around, bringing his daos back together, and cut her legs off. At the same time, one of the clones had finally forced the creature out of hiding, slamming it into the earth with his chakra chains. The demon said as it got up, "How dare you get my clothes, filthy human? You will pay for this." His clone tackled the demon back into the earth before saying, "Time to switch partners." Heiei said as he leapt toward the pretentious demon, "Pretty sure being a demon makes her a 0. His clone replied, "Jackass." Laughing, Heiei said, "Well, you're my clone." The pretentious one got up as Heiei was closing in for the kill. It yelled as it raised its hand, "Stay away from me, filth." The hand opened and revealed an eye with an arrow, throwing Heiei's footwork off. It followed up with the other hand with an arrow pointing in a different direction, which sent Heiei flying in that direction. Heiei thought to himself as he flew, "I see now." He was the one guiding the tamari and giving it its spin for added power. As hit the ground, he sensed that the clone had been defeated. The tamari demon heals fast. He ran back to the fight. Even with his other clone protecting everyone with an adamantine chain barrier, he didn't want to see if the tamari demon could eventually break through the barrier. The pretentious one's abilities are linked to the eyes in his palms and the direction of the arrows on the pupils. Heiei said, "Not bad, monster. But it will take more than that to beat me. I am a Hashira of the Uzumaki clan, and one of the last signs of the Rengoku clan. I am your bane, demon." The demon, angry, launched another attack. Heiei thought to himself, "I'll need to redirect the force of his attacks to move like water. I was never really good at water breathing, so I'll improvise." Heiei performed the cyclone dance again. This time, rather than using the next step to alter his angle of attack, he used the energy of his opponent's attack to increase his own momentum, spinning himself and his blades faster and faster. He sensed the feeling of fear in the demon and the opening. Heiei took another deep breath and said, "Wind style, wing breathing, 11th form, crosswind slash." Perfectly crossing his arms and swords while maintaining their spinning arcs, he executed the attack, taking the monster's head in a vicious slash. Even as the monster's head hit the earth, it still cursed him. Heiei said, yeah, take it up with the Shinigami." Admittedly, he got cocky, as the creature still could control its hands as its body burned up, throwing Heiei in almost every direction imaginable, hitting trees, boulders, and finally the hard ground. He was able to blunt the damage somewhat, but he still felt a rib crack. Not debilitating by any means for an Uzumaki, but something he would have preferred to have not experienced. He ran back to fighting. As he was running back, he sensed the memories of his remaining clone return to him. Shit. The tamari demon broke through the barrier. He sensed Karen's chakra flare. It was like the rising sun, then flickering like she was exhausted. The demon's energy was muted, almost too muted for him to sense. When he arrived, he was surprised at what he saw. Karen had awakened the adamantine chakra chains. Still incomplete, but this was a very good sign. The demon looked like a dehydrated husk. He still approached with caution and dispatched with a quick decapitating slash. Heiei said, "Karen, I'm proud of you. You did an excellent job. Relax your muscles and your mind to recall the chain." She did as she was told and recalled it easily. Much easier than Heiei or even his twin had when they awakened their chains. Still, this was a proud moment for the clan. They would have a lot to celebrate when they get back. Chapter 4. 2 months after Naruto becoming a genin. Naruto knelt alongside the twins, Karen, Aunt Rika, and the elders. He gulped. The elders had been gone for almost 2 months, and Anoka had been gone an extra 2 weeks before she had been allowed to return to the village to rest and refit. Hiate's team, which included Karen, had been sent on another C-rank mission escorting supplies to the Fire Temple. So it was him and Aunt Rika who had already chewed him out for the stunt with the scroll. Katuso said, "I am sure you are wondering about the increased readiness and rapid turnaround for missions recently." Naruto said, "Yeah, what was that about? Everyone was gone and missed me becoming a genin." Aunt Rika just sighed. Katsuo cleared his throat and said, "It is excellent that you became a genin you did in perhaps the most ludicrous way imaginable, and you are lucky it went as well as it did. I will be chewing into you further, but there is a bigger issue." That got Aunt Rika, Anoka, and his attention. "Naruto, what? What could be so big of a deal that they called you guys out? You guys are so old." He got hit hard on the back of his head. While his hands covered the injured spot, he looked around and saw that it was Aunt Rika. Naruto asked, "What did you do that for?" She said, "Naruto, sweetie, shut up and listen to the elders." Katuso sighed before saying, "There have been a number of incidents where entire villages have been slaughtered in the middle of the night, along with rumors of criminals looting the ruins of our homeland." A gasp broke out from Aunt Rika and Anoka, but Hayate was silent and just gripped his pant legs harder. Katsuo continued, "Others were dispatched to investigate the massacres. We were sent to investigate the possibility of looting in the ruins of the Hidden Whirlpool after various Uzumaki and Hidden Whirlpool paraphernalia was discovered in the black market. The village was being looted. We found several old monuments and shrines that contained seals that housed various demons that were not slain. The seals were crudely broken, the principal fault being a lack of maintenance of the seals as demons don't have chakra, so a self-sustaining loop cannot be maintained. The most troublesome of the shrines and monuments containing the seals was that of the upper 6 demons, known as the Wurin no, Jigaku, and Buridaguru, though several lower moons were released as well. That isn't even the worst of it. Several graves were plundered. That evoked a gasp from everyone, and then followed by anger. Katsuo held his hand up for silence and turned to the twins. "The grave of your grandfather and previous flame Hashira, Kaijuro Rengoku, and the graves of your parents." Naruto saw both of them were angered by this, and Hadate said, "Who are the bastards that did this? I swear I'll kill them." Katuso said, "Calm down, hey, I share your anger. Your father was my sensei, and the defilement infuriates me as well. Yet we cannot go rushing off in search of vengeance without a plan. Currently, we do not know who defiled their graves or broke the seals. While the seals were degrading from the lack of care, they still required a powerful shinobi to break them. The same could be said for the graves of our kinsmen. They're useless to commoners. Only a shinobi would care about the corpses of fallen shinobi. The most likely perpetrators are the hidden cloud and mist or rogue ninja from those villages. While they made off with a considerable sum of wealth and knowledge in the attack, we know they left before they stole everything as leaf reinforcements finally arrived, and the attack itself was so bloody that even the combined force didn't possess the numbers or will to keep fighting against fresh leaf shinobi. Lord Third has already promised to assign members of the Umbu Black Ops to investigate, as has Lord Jiraiya promised to investigate the matter personally." Hayate said, "That is better than nothing, though I wish we could do more." Old Lady Chiyoko said, "Hayate, the incident regarding you and your team on the mission has already helped us greatly as it gives us more information for how long these grave robbers have been operating. Your mission was to escort a merchant to the land of grass. Demons are normally solitary beasts and are particularly prone to roaming the land once they can find a good hunting territory. Meaning the defilement of our homeland must have been going on for some time, and the seal holding Muzan had weakened to the point where he could communicate with his underlings. We repaired the seal and placed new barrier tags, but if he is freed, it could mean disaster." Mirchi is an old term that the demons use to describe those who are descended from the legendary sage of the 6 paths. To them, feasting on one is comparable to feasting on the bodies of 1,000 normal people and even 100 normal shinobi. Since it is Uzumaki sealing techniques that imprison their kind, perhaps they believe our blood could break the seals or give them the strength to do so. Hayate asked, "Then why were Karen and I the only ones who were attacked?" Chiyoko said, "That is because they can smell the strength of a human. 3 elder Uzumakis are a daunting collection of foes to all but the strongest demons, even before accounting for the fact that we were supported by a 5-man team of Umbu, and 2 of our number were the Hashiras of Wind and Water." Anoka, by sheer coincidence, managed to run into Lady Tsunade while on patrol. Even if it was an even more tempting target, one of the legendary Sannin would be too strong of a foe, even discounting Anoka's own skills along with those accompanying them. Rika was within the village. "Naruto is," Genji said. "Chiyoko might as well just be open with it. The boy already knows because of that damn Mizuki, and his knowledge of Fuinjutsu means it won't be overwhelming if we just come clean." Chiyoko replied, "What about Karen?" We planned to tell her only after she became a chunin. Katuso said, Jinji is right. There's no point in hiding it from him any longer, and Karen is his betrothed anyway. With the awakening of her chakra chains, this information will just cement why her training will get even harder from here on out. Naruto, still not knowing what betrothed meant, looked at Karen, her face perplexed. All he could sense from her was confusion and a little annoyance, probably because of the implication that she wasn't training hard enough. Chiyoko sighed, fine. Naruto is a Jinchuriki, and the demons are terrified of the tailed beasts. Naruto said, oh, was that Jinchuriki were made? I figured I must have been chosen by the fourth Hokage, because we were just so badass that we could imprison that damn fox. A silence fell on everyone, followed by a simultaneous facepalm from the adults. Katuso said, no, Naruto. The tailed beasts are beings of pure chakra and can unleash unspeakable levels of devastation. Thus, many have sought to control them or use them for their own ends. There are only 4 ways to control or suppress the power of the tailed beasts. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, the wood style of the first Hokage Hashirama Senju, the adamantine sealing chain of our clan, and to seal them within a human host with a powerful sealing jutsu. Naruto asked, then why was it sealed in me if the leaf had 2 ways to control or stop the 9 tails? Genji said, everything went wrong that night. Naruto asked, how? He paused before asking, was I born too early and my mom died? Chiyoko said, no, child. The time of your birth played no part in her death or the attack of the 9 tails. Katuso said, before we tell you what happened that night, you must understand why the Uzumaki first started settling in the Leaf before the attack on the Hidden Whirlpool. The Leaf was founded by 2 rival clans making an alliance, the Uchiha and the Senju. At the time, the clans were led by Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju, respectively. Lady Mito wrote in her diaries that they were once friends before they learned that the other hailed from a rival clan. They laid the foundations for the village and influenced many clans to join them and submit to them for protection, as the Uchiha and Senju were the strongest clans on the continent, and thus it would be foolish to oppose them even if a contract demanded that they do. Eventually, though, they had a falling out and Madara left the village. For what reason Lady Mito never wrote down, nor did Lord Hashirama ever tell anyone. But Madara knew that Hashirama was stronger than he was, even if they were considered equals in strength by many. So he sought out the 9 tails fox to give him the upper hand and took control with his Sharingan. He would later battle against the first Hokage and Lady Mito at the Battle of the Final Valley. Hashirama attempted to face Madara alone, but Mito, being a typical woman of our clan, refused to let him fight Madara and the 9 tails alone. She was a remarkable woman. Together, not only did they break Madara's control of the 9 tails, but to ensure that Madara could never gain control over it again should he escape, Lady Mito sealed the 9 tails within herself, becoming its first Jinchuriki. Madara would die in that battle. Naruto was surprised that not only was the 9 tails sealed within him, but he was also not the first Jinchuriki of the 9 tails. Naruto asked, was I chosen because I was like her in some way? Genji said, no, in fact you would not have been our choice to be the Jinchuriki, but you were the one who was the most available to the 4th Hokage. Naruto asked, what does that mean? Chiyoko said, wait, and we will tell you more, though some details must remain hidden until you are older. Naruto crossed his arms and pouted before saying, fine. Katuso continued, Lady Mito had a special chakra, and the Kekkei Jinkai of our clan was expressed the most within her, which is why she made herself a Jinchuriki. The tailed beasts are still extremely difficult to control even within a Jinchuriki. Most villages have gone through dozens of shinobi attempting to find one who could handle the power. Even then, most of them suffer in one form or another from the beast's corrosive influence on them. The one Tails of the Sand is the most obvious, as it is said its host can never sleep lest the beast gain control. Eventually, she became advanced in her years, and when she died, the beast would be released back into the world. So she sent word to her kinsmen in the Hidden Whirlpool that the clan must keep an eye open for one who inherited the same strength as she did. Chiyoko said, my dear, your mother was the one to inherit such a strength. He was shocked. His mother was also the Jinchuriki for the 9 tails. Tears fell from his eyes thinking about all the pain he had suffered and how his mom must have felt, and without all the family that he had. Naruto asked, tears running down his face, then what happened when I was born? Why did the 9 tails attack the village? Genji said, a Jinchuriki seal is at its weakest when a female Jinchuriki becomes pregnant and gives birth. Someone attacked the secret location where you were being born, killing the Umbu assigned to protect you and your mother, the medical staff delivering you, the wife of Lord Third who was overseeing the delivery, and my wife who was in charge of maintaining the seal along with the help of your father and the 4th Hokage. We do not know all the details, but we know they were attacked by humans as everyone but the 4th and your mother were slain at the site. Eventually, Lord 4th forced the attacker to flee, and with the help of your mother restrained and sealed the beast within you. The seal they used is the 8 trigrams seal, derived from our clan's 4 trigram seal, which have been used to seal the 9 tails within your mother and Lady Mito. The 8 trigrams is a stronger seal and allows the chakra of the 9 tails to better interact with your own, adapting your body to it over time and making you stronger, though that link may also weaken the seal over time. But we have the key to strengthen the seal, and you do not seem to have even used its power directly, so as of now it is a non-issue. Naruto didn't know what to say. The tears still wet his face and stung his eyes. Katuso said, "We know this is hard to hear and maybe even accept, but there is one more thing that I want you to know." Naruto asked, "What is it?" Katsuo said, "Lady Mito told your mother that the secret to overcoming the loneliness of being a Jinchuriki and the hatred of the 9-tailed fox is love. Lady Mito loved Lord Hashirama and their children and grandchildren. Your mother had your father and eventually us. Though I doubt she appreciated having to deal with 4 newborns. Though she loved you more than anything." Naruto wiped the tears from his eyes and said, "Thank you, Uncle Katuso, Aunt Chiyoko, and Uncle Genji. Thank you for everything." Chiyoko said, "You do not have to thank us. You are our blood, and the Uzumaki clan takes care of their own." Chapter 5, Departures and New Insights. Sasuke's POV. There weren't many times that he could say he was thankful that blonde idiot was on his team, but this one of those few times. A C rank mission was better than any D rank, even if it was guarding an old drunk bridge builder. The old man was finishing some business with the inn he was staying at when Sasuke heard the whoosh of the body flicker technique. He turned to see who it was and saw a beautiful woman with long dark red hair framing her heart-shaped face, with beautiful black eyes that reminded him of the midnight sky on a new moon. Her sleeveless kimono hugged her body in all the right places. She was carrying a box in her left hand. This red-haired beauty reminded him of the picture that he found in an old photo album of his mother's, showing his mother next to a beautiful red-haired woman. She smiled at him when she saw him looking at him. His cheeks felt hot, and he was certain that he was blushing. Kakashi said, "Yo, Onoka, are you here to finally accept my offer of a date?" That got everyone's attention, Naruto being too loud as usual, yelling at Kakashi for hitting on his cousin. As if someone that beautiful was really related to that loser. She said, "Have you stopped reading those filthy books?" Kakashi almost seemed to smile through his mask. "Of course not." She replied with an adorable smirk and said, "Then in your dreams, Kakashi." Kakashi replied, "So what brings you here? Surely not to tease an old comrade or your cousin." "Cousin? Could this beauty really be related to Naruto?" She said, "I brought you guys something." Naruto was supposed to bring it, but he conveniently forgot 2 of them. Besides, I wanted to see Naruto off before his first C rank mission. She opened the box and revealed 3 amulets, emblazoned with the spiral of the Uzumaki clan and some kind of jutsu formula. They also smelled like flowers. They were just like the one Naruto gave Sakura this morning. She said, "They're inscribed with a barrier jutsu formula, and the compounds within the wisteria flower improve chakra control and regeneration. So I would recommend wearing them at all times as they can greatly help you." Sasuke said as he grabbed one. "Thank you for the gift. I'll make sure that I'll wear it and keep it safe." Of course, that got that loser to open his big dumb mouth again. My God, I can't believe Sasuke actually thanked someone. Sasuke said, "Shut it, Naruto." Onoka simply smiled and said, "I thought that might be you, Sasuke. My, how you have grown. I've seen you since you were a little kid when your mom had me babysat you a couple times when I was a genin." Again, he blushed. This time his cheeks felt like someone had hit him with the fireball jutsu. Honestly, he didn't really remember her, but he blocked out a lot of things back then so as not to feel the pain as sharply. Kakashi said, "Now that Naruto knows, he will ask you for any juicy secrets so he can torture Sasuke." Onoka said, "I know, but that will be your problem, not mine until you get back." Kakashi replied, as cruel as ever, "Onoka, tell Aoba and your brother I say hi." She replied, "Can do." "By the way, Kakashi, I need to talk to you in private." Kakashi stiffened before moving away from them and closer to Onoka. He said, "All right, shall we find a quiet roof?" Onoka said, "No need." She threw a kunai with some kind of counterweight with an unfamiliar kanji between them before performing a quick succession of hand seals, which created a barrier around them. The strange thing is that they were still talking, but no sound was coming from them. She handed him a scroll and a stack of some kind of tags which Kakashi put in his pouch. The barrier came down and she picked up her special kunai. They walked back to them, and she rubbed Naruto's head before she said, "All right, Naruto, don't be an idiot. This is a real mission. Listen to your sensei and remember what we taught you. Trust your sensei and your squad mates." She turned to the rest of the squad. "Same goes for you guys. C ranks can get dangerous, so take them seriously and fight as a team. Good luck." Just as quickly as she appeared, she left. The girls in his class honestly drove him more insane than Naruto. But there was something about this woman he really liked. Maybe it was the red hair. After all, he liked it on the lady in the photo with his mom. He never did figure out who it was in the photo, and his mom always told him to call her Tomato Lady. Hopefully one day, once his mission of vengeance is complete, he can find his own Tomato Lady to marry. Sakura said, "Naruto, who was that? Is she really related to you?" Naruto replied, "Yep. She is my cousin, though I've always thought of her as my big sister. She and her twin brother Hei were the ones who primarily trained me." Sasuke had to admit that was a flaw on the redhead's part, though Naruto was at least good at taijutsu. The bridge builder finally arrived and told them they were ready. Take 3. As they left the village, Sasuke wondered if Naruto was going to annoy him the whole time, especially about his past. Then he might as well get some useful information like who the Tomato Lady in his mother's old photo album was. Kakashi POV. As they left the village, he couldn't help but think about what Anoka said to him inside the barrier. Anoka said, "Kakashi, what I am about to tell you is classified. Have you heard of the rumors of villages being massacred throughout the southern reaches of the Land of Fire?" Kakashi replied, "Yes, I have heard of them, but so far whatever reports the teams that were sent to investigate have been labeled classified pending the conclusion of the investigation." Anoka said, "Lord Third believes it to be the work of bandits and pirates, but my clan knows better. Several months ago, there was a rise of the hidden whirlpool paraphernalia and artifacts. This led to Lord Third believing there was a smuggling ring that was grave robbing my ancestors' resting places. The elders and a squad of Umbu were sent to investigate and eliminate the grave robbers if they were present. What they found was more disturbing. In addition to the usual grave robbing, the graves of powerful Uzumaki shinobi were looted, and several sealing shrines were desecrated and their seals broken. Those shrines sealed away in human horrors. The people of the world are in grave danger with their release. According to the scrolls we have, those shrines sealed away man-eating demons that have a preference for those with bloodlines that are said to go back to the Sage of the Six Paths. This was proven accurate as they attacked my brother's squad, specifically targeting him and another of our kinswomen. Sakura is likely at no more risk than a normal shinobi, and the Nine Tails within Naruto keeps the demons away from him due to them fearing the tailed beasts. But they will hunt Sasuke for his Uchiha blood, and most likely you too for your Sharingan. Kakashi said, "I see the danger. Why not object to this assignment then? Your clan elders should have enough political influence to make Lord Hokage reconsider this deployment." Anoka smirked and said, "Simple, he doesn't believe the threat is as great as we say, and we cannot afford to coddle Naruto. He needs to be pushed and trained harder." Lord Minato would not have sealed the Nine Tails within his own son for no reason. He must have foreseen some great threat that required the power of Nine Tails to face. She pulled a scroll out from her pouch and handed to him before continuing. "This is a dossier containing what we know of the demons that have escaped, the general information of their kind, and the weaknesses of their kind. By the way, those amulets are tailored to protect people the demons prefer to feast on. I left a special gift sealed inside for you and Naruto if something happens." Kakashi took the scroll and placed it in his pouch before replying, "I see, well, this mission certainly got a lot more interesting." Anoka continued as she grabbed something from her pouch. "That is certainly true. This last thing I have to give you is something that shouldn't be necessary, but the clan elders figured better safe than sorry." She handed him a stack of tags with a kanji for suppression before continuing. "They're suppression tags, in case the Nine Tails chakra ever leaks out and Naruto can't control it. The seal was designed for the beast chakra to add to Naruto's own, and for him to be able to call on it, but unlike Lady Mito or Lady Kushina, Naruto doesn't possess the special chakra Kekkai Genkai that allows for him to fully suppress the Nine Tails. Hopefully you will never need them." "Good luck, Kakashi." Kakashi replied, "Thank you, Anoka, for everything." She replied, "No problem, Kakashi. Just keep our little knucklehead safe." He hadn't had a chance to read the scroll yet, but between Naruto being a Jinchuriki and the amulets warding them, he could have some peace of mind on that front. Though he couldn't relax no matter how routine or low-level a mission was, especially as he was finding out having a mission with Naruto on his team. Even now, the kid was making too much noise and craziness. Regardless, if Naruto didn't stop making a fuss about every verbal jab the client made, this would be a long mission. "Hey guys, your host here. Sorry for interruption, but here I skipped the Waves Arc mission because I think you guys heard it oftenly. Hope you don't mind." Chapter 9. Battle of the Jotaro Falls. Another C rank mission. She was happy to be getting these higher rank missions, but this would be the 9th C rank mission that they have gotten in 6 months. She had barely any time to train and hone her adamantine sealing chains, which she was determined to master after learning about Naruto's status as a Jinchuriki and why she had been betrothed to him. She didn't know if she would love Naruto like her mother loved her father, or how the elders said Lady Kushina loved Naruto's father and Lady Mito loved Lord First, but she would be damned before she let another one of her family die. If her power was the secret to protecting Naruto from the beast sealed within, then she will gladly stand by his side both as his wife and partner. As they were traveling alongside the riverbank to the Joran Falls, she felt a growing sense of unease ahead of them. It was oppressively dark and evil. It felt like the demons that had attacked them on their first C-rank mission, yet even darker and more evil. It was absolutely disgusting and almost made her feel sick. Heiei-sensei held his hand up to bring the squad to a halt. They stopped and gathered at the foot of a large boulder by the river. Heiei-sensei said, "This mission just got a whole lot more difficult. It isn't bandits like the townsfolk thought. It's a demon, and a strong one at that." Normally, a Jonin squad leader would order an abort of the mission and return to the village to gather reinforcements. But frankly, this is Uzumaki clan business, and any further delays mean more innocents are killed. So I will continue the mission, but you three must keep a distance and only support from range. Heiei-sensei quickly performed the summoning jutsu and summoned a pair of eagles. One of the eagles said, "What's up?" Heiei-sensei said, "Haru, I will need one of you to head back to the village and deliver a message requesting reinforcements. Aishi will fly and see if there are any other Leaf Squad in the area." The eagle said with a wing raised in salute, "You got it, Heid." The eagles flew off to complete their mission. Heiei-sensei then pulled out a scroll and summoned a large array of weapons ranging from kunai to various types of bombs. Heiei-sensei said, "These weapons are laced with a poison made from the wisteria flower, fairly mild to humans but crippling to most demons. No matter what, you are not to directly engage with a demon, but you can support via the use of these weapons. Seal them into your weapon scroll so you can pull them out as needed." Obviously, you guys know the payload difference between the types of bombs, right? The explosive tags have a standard amount and type of powder along with the larger fragmentation bombs. The difference being that with the tags they release gas made from wisteria. The smaller B bombs are a bit different. They use a more volatile powder and striker, so they pack more of a punch than their size suggests, as before made with wisteria. Some of the other tools and weapons you don't need me to go over. He turned to her and said, "You should get your Nichiren katana ready. We don't know the abilities of this demon, so we have to be prepared for anything. Your water breathing should be adequate to protect the others." Heiei-sensei paused before saying, "After you three have divided the weapons between yourselves, we will get moving. We still have about 2 hours of daylight left, so we should hurry and prepare a trap for the demon. After all, if you found yourself in a fair fight, you have made a mistake. Oh, before I forget, take these." He threw them some small bottles and said, "These are some wisteria-based purgatives and antidotes that help the body purge any demon poisons. So keep them in a safe spot. Hopefully we won't need it, but you never know." They took it and stored it away. Heiei-sensei said, "All right, let's move." They leapt towards the waterfall using the body flicker technique. They spent the waning hours of daylight preparing the traps and taking position for their ambush. As the sun fully set, the demon came out of the cave. It had the appearance of an admittedly beautiful and curvaceous figure, one she admitted to being jealous of. She had to stifle a chuckle, though. Her sensei and cousin had developed a bit of a reputation as someone who was constantly chasing after beautiful women while also never being able to maintain any serious relationship, so it was easy to imagine what he was thinking. The creature shoots what could only be described as a harpoon made from a spider's web. It sticks the explosive shadow clone that Heiei-sensei had transformed to resemble a normal woodcutter. The clone is quickly dragged to the beast, and as it gets to her, it explodes. Yet something was off. Karen focused her chakra and saw that the explosion didn't get the beast. It had managed to evade the blast. The beast had fast reflexes with the speed and agility to take full advantage. Heiei-sensei sensed the beast's evasion and changed his strategy, summoning a shadow clone before releasing a barrage of wind-enhanced fire dragon bombs. The wind-enhanced flames flew across the lake towards the beast as it ran up the stone that formed the waterfall. The flames hit the stone with incredible destructive force that sent flame-engulfed stone shrapnel flying. The beast managed to evade both the blasts and shrapnel and leapt over the last blast and onto the water. Heiei-sensei leaps from his hiding spot, swords drawn. Sensei and the beast are fighting in vicious close-quarters combat. Karen can hear the gale-like swings of Sensei's blades when he uses wind breathing. Yet for the most part, the demon is able to evade most of Sensei's attacks, and the few cuts it takes heals very quickly. The beast is quite skilled, but Sensei is the better tactician, driving it towards the forest where they hid in order to open her up their range attacks. It bent backwards to avoid a crosswind slash, but it opened itself to an attack from one of her teammates. Yada threw a barrage of kunai at the beast, but it pulled the root of a large tree out of the ground to block the kunai. Not only was it fast and had insane reflexes, it was strong as well. That wasn't good. Sensei switched to the third form, Cyclone Dance, which managed to cut off an arm and force the beast to retreat into the forest. If Karen was a betting woman, she would bet that she planned to use the tall trees as cover. It healed fast and then came after Sensei. Though this time it changed tactics, shooting bolts of spider silk and quickly creating complex layers of webs to change the terrain and throw off Sensei. It slowed Sensei down, but he used the first form to charge through, cutting through the webs. The wind-enhanced Nichiren blades cutting through the webs as if it was nothing. Yet, with the added webs and projectiles, it made it so that the form didn't have enough speed and power to slay the demon, which left Sensei open, and he got sent flying with a powerful kick. The demon's hair stood up and appeared to harden. The beast said, "Demon blood art, spider needle barrage." It launched them at Sensei. Karen took out a scroll from her pouch and summoned half a dozen kunai with explosive tags already attacked and threw them in the path of the attack. The tags exploded as the needles reached them, destroying some and sending others off course. Sensei yelled, "Thanks for the assist. Now get back. I'm going to turn up the heat." She felt the sudden spike in his chakra. He was charging a lot of chakra in his hands, and it felt like it was being both concentrated and superheated. Karen yelled, "Ada, Isai, fall back now." Yada and Isashi would grumble at her for giving them orders, especially ones they already knew, but they trusted her senses and knew that she wasn't the sort to expose her position or theirs without good reason. She sensed them hurry away as she made her way back towards the lake. Sensei leapt into the air and said, "Fire style, Hellfire Kraken." 10 tendrils of superheated and concentrated chakra came out of his fingers and struck the forest, cutting and burning everything in their path. She sensed the beast evading the tendrils, but what the beast didn't know is that Sensei could manipulate each tendril like a puppeteer manipulates a puppet. Hey, Sensei crisscrossed the flames again and again. Shrinking the available space, the beast could evade or hide from the flames. Unfortunately, the jutsu ran its course before she could get hit. Karen could sense the beast undergoing some kind of transformation that made its presence feel even more disgusting and hideous, which she inferred as a transformation to increase its power. Which was bad news as she sensed Sensei land back on the earth. Hellfire Kraken takes a large amount of chakra even for an Uzumaki in order to create the pressure and heat needed for the powerful flames. Plus his previous wind-enhanced flames and the constant channeling of wind nature chakra for the wind breathing was concerning as well. They weren't in danger yet, but it wasn't a good sign when the enemy was getting even stronger. She hit the trunk of the tree she was standing on, cracking it. She said under her breath, "Damn it. Why couldn't I master the chains already?" While within 3 meters, she had an excellent amount of control over them and could manifest 4 separate chains. She couldn't yet extend them farther, which meant that she had a long way to go before she could even compare to Lady Kushina or Lady Mito. Sensei and the demon re-engaged in vicious close-quarters combat. Their battle was an incredible demonstration of speed and dexterity, as their strikes moved so fast her eyes couldn't keep up, and she was only able to track them through the use of her Kekkei Genkai. Their fight drew closer to her, both locked in vicious mortal combat. It seemed like Sensei was about to gain the upper hand, but then the beast grew 4 spider-like arms which parried his blades into the earth. Sensei used the swords to enhance his movements and launch a powerful reverse kick, but the beast blocked, and she sensed a small flicker of pain from her sensei. The beast must have used the spiders to impale Sensei when he kicked. Sensei managed to pull the blades out of the ground and tried to gain some distance, but the beast was on him, attempting to impale her sensei with the spider legs, but Sensei parried 2 and evaded a 3rd. The 4th, though, impaled him through the lower torso. The beast pinned him to the ground. Karen couldn't just sit back and analyze the fight to find the most opportune time to strike. She had to strike now to save her sensei. She threw a half-dozen kunai. 5 were normal kunai, but the last had the wisteria-based poison gas bomb tag wrapped around the hilt. The beast casually evaded the kunai, but had not sensed the tag, which detonated and released a large smoke cloud containing the poison. Karen focused her sensory abilities to find a precise location of the beast through the smoke and launched another barrage of kunai, this laced with the wisteria poison. The poison cloud seemed to disorient the beast and allowed the kunai to strike it. The concentrated poison on the kunai now entered the beast's body. The beast stumbled away from her sensei, moving more clumsy and slower than it had before. She leapt down and carried her sensei out. Sensei coughed before saying, "Thanks, Karen. I'm sorry for needing you to save me." Karen said, "It's no problem at all. I'm going to keep pressing the attack, catch your breath, and then join me. Yada and Ace-High are going to regroup with us." She drew her katana and went to attack the beast. The beast had managed to move about a dozen meters from the gas, but the combination of poison gas and concentrated poison from the kunai had severely hampered its ability to regenerate or move. It turned towards her, and she saw that the poison was effective, but she had not expected the one beautiful creature whose features made her jealous now revealed to be a monstrous beast with 8 eyes and massive fangs. The poison had made it even uglier. Chemical burns covered its face and anything that wasn't covered by clothing. Blood dripped from its maw. It must have been coughing up blood from the poison. She took her stance as she approached the beast and said, "Water style, water breathing, 3rd form, flowing dance." Her chakra channeled through her blade, and she could feel the chakra envelop the blade and transform into water, pushing her blade like water, jetting out of a geyser. Her form was perfect. Not a step out of line or a hair out of place. She perfectly cut off the 4 large spider arms. The technique left her about a half-dozen meters from the beast. It let a piercing scratch from the pain and turned to her. She sensed the beast was preparing a counterattack. It stored power in its throat and shot out a harpoon of web. Karen leapt in the air to evade the attack. The effects of her total concentration, constant breath training were certainly paying off. She performed a somersault to increase her kinetic energy as she let herself fall back to the earth, precisely behind a beast. As she was just behind a beast, she launched her attack when she sensed her opening, saying water style, water breathing, first form, water surface slash. With a swing of her sword, she took its head. She rolled onto the earth to protect herself from the fall. The beast's head rolled about 2 meters from its body. She quickly flicked the blood off her katana and went back to Height Sensei. Yada and Aryashir were already there with Sensei on his feet with his wound patched up. She said, "It's done. The beast is dead." Height said, "Did the body disintegrate already?" Karen realized that she hadn't stayed to confirm. She reached out with her senses to see if it had, but it hadn't. In fact, it had grown. Karen was about to speak when Height Sensei said, "I sense it too. Let's go finish the job." Before they could head back, a large monstrous beast landed in front of them and let out a massive roar. Height Sensei said, "Oh great, it just has to have another form." The beast attacked, but they evaded. It then spat out a massive steam of spiders. The spiders went after, and her teammates. They were surprisingly fast, but they weren't durable, nor were they too fast for them. One thing they couldn't fully negate was how many they helped, but there were still so many. She cut through spider after spider, occasionally being able to sense or glimpse her team. Yada was using his tonfa to both attack and defend, smashing and cutting with the blades that were sealed with the tonfa. Ayashir was using his Kuzarigima's chain and high-speed arcs to create a barrier with the chain, slicing the occasional spider who made it past the chain barrier. While Sensei hadn't taught them their clan's hidden breathing styles, he did ensure that they would never be found lacking with weapons, nor would their enemies be able to outlast them. Height Sensei was fighting the beast again, though this time he had changed tactics. A third blade was in his mouth. He dodged a massive fist and was directly under the beast's body. She heard him shout, "Esoteric sword art, wind breathing, 9th form, dragon twister." A massive twister engulfed them, and it took the beast high into the air, slicing into the beast with every rotation. The spiders around her leapt into the air, hoping to overwhelm her defense. She was prepared, though. She said, "Water style, water breathing, 6th form, whirlpool." The combination of water and steel created a powerful barrier around her that kept the spiders off her and bisected a good number of them. She then moved into the 9th form to continue her attack among the chaotic formation that her last attack forced the spider into. The number of spiders were finally shrinking. Between the damage the beaster suffered after Height Sensei's jutsu and the ones her teammates and herself had slain. While initially it seemed good, it seemed the spider had returned to their progenitor and fused into the beast, healing it. That wasn't good at all, especially as Sensei was below 50% of his chakra pool. She knew he was losing chakra faster than normal. Then she realized what was happening. Sensei had been poisoned. He was spending a good deal of chakra trying to slow the poison so he could still fight. Height Sensei said, "Damn, I have to admit you're tough. No one of your eyes say, lower moon 1 inch. The beast spoke. "I was strong even before my lord turned me into a demon. I had been a shinobi of the Tsukuchigomo clan during what you would call the Warring States period." Height Sensei said, "Man, you are an ugly old hag." The beast was infuriated by that and launched a blind attack, smashing the spot Sensei had been. The beast yelled, "You moronic bastard. You could have died seeing me, as when I was mortal, you forced me to take this hideous form. My strength and beauty were renowned throughout the land." Height Sensei said, "Yeah, your original form was pretty hot, but this is a total downgrade." He dodged another attack. Karen couldn't understand what he was doing, infuriating the demon more. He had been severely wounded by the demon, but now he sought to mock it. The beast yelled, "It is too late for flattery. If you had simply let yourself be eaten, I would have let you experience paradise. I have always desired to see if the rumors of the Uzumaki's legendary stamina were true, but now I will rip you to shreds and drink your blood." Karen grimaced, as she thought to herself how she really hoped that the creature wasn't talking about sex. This time the beast launched a barrage of spines at Sensei, and he had parried or evaded most, but some had gotten through. The spines would have injected him with even more poison. Purple splotches were surrounding the exposed skin where he had been wounded. He was bleeding considerably, in addition, the poison coursing through his veins. Hey, Sensei said thank you. You have been a real help. That took the beast aback, and it asked, what are you talking about? Hey, Sensei said, my ultimate technique, I need to be near death to use. To be at the precipice between life and death. The beast said, nonsense, you can barely stand, let alone attack. Hey, Sensei took a new stance that she had never seen before. She could sense his chakra suddenly spike and become red-hot, like he was about to launch a fire-style attack. Hey, Sensei said, sacred beast dance, blessed summer winds, vermilion phoenix. The chakra that engulfed Sensei's body had started as wind nature chakra, but was growing hotter and hotter. Then he attacked, and she couldn't track his actual body anymore, only the afterimage of his chakra that ceased to be wind but had transformed into flames. She could feel the power within the technique, and it was nothing like she had ever seen before. The beast tried to fight back, but it couldn't truly fight back. It was losing limbs with every pass before it finally lost his head. It was burning both from the flames and the fact it was now and truly dead. Sensei had collapsed on the ground face first. His chakra was flickering, but it was very low. She didn't know much about that technique, but that jutsu must have consumed a massive amount of chakra. She and her teammates rushed to their sensei's side. They turned him over. They gasped. Some of the poison was gone, but in its places were burns, and he was still bleeding heavily. She didn't know what to do. None of their trauma kits were designed to handle this amount of trauma. Neither were they trained medicine. Iata thought quickly and poured a wisteria-based antidote to treat the poison. That was a good start, but it wasn't enough. The eagles hadn't returned yet, and they had no idea when reinforcements would arrive. Then she remembered. Lady Mito and Kushina could heal others by letting them bite them and have them directly consume her chakra. She was still pretty fresh considering she was mainly acting in a supporting role. She said, Aisha, have him bite my arm. He looked at her like she grew a second head. She said, don't just gawk at me, do it. So he did, and a sudden surge went through her body. It was painful, but it was working. Chakra was flowing into Sensei and engulfed him. It was healing him, and he stopped bleeding, and even some of his more minor wounds had completely healed. She could sense he was about to come to, but as he was coming back, she was starting to lose consciousness. She then sensed a group of 4 ninja approaching, but before she could identify who was coming, she saw nothing but darkness. Chapter 10 Sakura. Her body is still incredibly sore after the month-long training with the Uzumaki clan at their training at Kakashi-sensei's request, and waiting around for the doors to the chunin exams to open didn't help. She looked down at her hands and forearms still heavily bandaged. Naruto had been given even harder training under the clan elder, as he had apparently done the course multiple times, and his sword skills had advanced enough that he was ready to go to the next level. Even Sasuke had struggled with the course. She didn't know how she would have made it though the course if it hadn't been for one of Naruto's cousins, Anoka, had decided to give her some extra instruction. Her instruction was harsh, but it had allowed her to pass the course by not being hit by any of the traps in the course. She could feel her chakra having been greatly increased by all the physical training and her study of Anoka-sensei's moves. She didn't have the Uzumaki clan's Kekkei, Genkai, or insane chakra reserves, but she had her wits, which allowed her to quickly pick up from a theoretical standpoint what Anoka-sensei had been talking about, and it had allowed her to notice that Anoka-sensei actually breathed differently than even any of the other jonin like Kakashi-sensei she had seen. That had left her curious as to why. Her curiosity grew even greater when she noticed that Naruto breathed that way now after their training. Was it some hidden technique of the clan? Sakura turned to Naruto and said, Hey Naruto, I can't help but notice that you and your clan breathe differently. Why is that, Slash? Naruto's big dumb smile appeared on his face like a neon sign as he said, Oh, that's because we use total concentration breathing. It's this super cool hidden technique that allows us to greatly increase our physical abilities to perform powerful techniques. Normally, one can only do it for a short time, but if you're really strong and skilled, you can learn to do it constantly. That seemed to get Sasuke's attention, so you can't do it then dead last? Naruto got angry and said, Damn you, Sasuke. Don't act all cool and stuff when it was my breathing sword style that kept up with Haku. Sasuke replied, I meant the constant part. Obviously, I have seen you use your clan's hidden techniques. I'm not as dumb as you are. Naruto said, Jerk. What do you think that extra training I went through was for? Sasuke said, Good. I don't want to have to carry anyone's slack during the chunin exams. Naruto replied with a smirk, Funny, I was just going to say the same thing to you. The doors finally opened and the line moved fast enough as simply a matter of submitting the paperwork. Yet everything after went crazy. Sasuke and Naruto were both decisively defeated by the weirdo with the bushy eyebrows, and then the craziness with their former classmates. Almost everyone in the exam room looked like they wanted to murder them. Well, except Kabuto and Three-Leaf Genin that had been keeping their distance. The red-headed one seemed to be the leader of the trio, and strangely seemed familiar despite the fact she had never seen her before. The redhead started walking over. No one seemed to notice her approach except for Naruto, who lit up and started yelling, "Hey Karen, come meet my teammates." The redhead said. Naruto piped down, "You're drawing too much attention." Naruto replied, "I don't care because I'm going to kick all of their asses. Because I will become Hokage, believe it." Karen shook her head and said, "Part of being Hokage is mastery of shinobi skills, which include stealth." The rest of their class had turned to see who was approaching. Most of them had relatively neutral expressions, with curiosity being the primary emotion that was visible. Though Sasuke's skin flushed red briefly. Did he like her? Sakura's fist clenched hard, and she promised herself that she wouldn't lose Sasuke to anyone. Sasuke asked, "So how do you know this idiot? You don't seem anything like him." Naruto yelled, "Hey." Karen smiled, tightening her head and said, "Oh, I'm Naruto's clanswoman and his betrothed." A collective yell of shock came from their class present save Naruto. Well, Sakura didn't fail to notice that Hinata completely collapsed while Choji tripped over her unconscious body. Karen didn't answer. All she did was laugh. Naruto asked, "What's up with you guys?" Turning to Karen, "I never understood why any of you guys find that funny. You guys should at least include me in the joke." Sakura asked Naruto, "Naruto, do you really not know what it means?" Naruto replied, "No, what does betrothed mean?" Sasuke seemed to recompose himself briefly before yelling at him, "It means that you and her are to be married." The words didn't seem to register with Naruto for a few moments before it hit him, and he reacted the same as they did when Karen introduced herself. Naruto yelled, "No. Well, are you serious? You guys are joking, right?" Karen was laughing even harder and had to fight through the laugh to speak. "Yeah, they are. That's what it means. Why do you think they always sat each other together during formal clan events, and both of us were taught what is required for future clan heads? After all, you are technically the clan head as your mother was before you. I will admit we should have told you years ago, but it was just so hilarious that you didn't understand what it meant, especially when people outside the clan found out." Naruto yelled, "You jerks. How could you guys do that? Not to mention, I can't marry you. I love Sakura." Sakura's fist clenched hard, and she was about to hit Naruto, but Karen beat her to it. Karen yelled, "Shut the hell up, you idiot." Naruto recoiled from the blow and yelled out in pain. Karen said, "I didn't make the betrothal contract either. It is simply what needs to be done to preserve the power of our Kekia Jinkai, and other reasons I do not need to tell you. The least you could do for me is not embarrass and shame me in front of everyone." Naruto replied, "Damn it, that hurt. I am sorry. I guess I am still kind of overwhelmed after learning we're betrothed. I could certainly do worse." Naruto noticed that his last words were about to get him hit again, so he tried to save himself. "I mean, the elders could have married someone who was weird and weak, not someone as beautiful and strong as you." Karen smirked. "That's more like it." Naruto said, "Though can you at least grow your hair out more? I like long hair better." Karen said, "Maybe if you become a chunin. Now I will let you get back to classmates and Four Eyes over there." Forget the chunin exams. Sakura didn't know if she could survive all the craziness Naruto brought into her life. Naruto loved her? The preference for long hair? Naruto being betrothed? If she was old enough to drink, the insanity that was her team would make her drink. The first stage of the chunin exams was almost nothing compared to the insanity of what had just preceded it. Only the 10th question had matched the craziness. She almost forfeited to protect Naruto's dream, but Naruto's last-second speech brought everything back to normal. As annoying as Naruto could be, he did have a knack for sparking a fire inside people. This was part 1. If you don't want to miss the next part, do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon on. On 200 likes, part 2 will be uploaded. Do check out description box for more updates.